On August 2nd, 1939, Albert Einstein penned a letter that would change the course of history and lay the groundwork for one of humanity's most destructive inventions, the atomic bomb. Addressed to U.S. President Franklin D. Roosevelt, this seemingly innocuous two-page correspondence contained a profound warning about the potential for nuclear fission to create a new and immensely powerful source of energy. In it, Einstein expressed his concerns about recent research in nuclear physics, noting that it had become possible to harness uranium as a potent energy source, one that could be weaponized to devastating effect. At the time, the world was on the brink of war, and Einstein's letter was catalyzed by his worries over Germany's freezing of uranium sales to occupied Czechoslovakia. This pivotal moment led to the initiation of the Manhattan Project, a top-secret multi-billion-dollar program designed to ensure that the United States would not fall behind in the race to develop nuclear weapons. Physicist Robert Oppenheimer would eventually lead this three-year effort, propelling America into a nuclear arms race that would culminate in the creation of the atomic bomb. The ramifications of Einstein's letter extended far beyond his original intent, shaping not only military strategy but also the very fabric of global relations. On September 10th, 2024, this historical letter will be auctioned at Christie's in New York, with experts predicting it could fetch upwards of $4 million. There are two versions of the letter. An abbreviated one is set for auction, while the more detailed original resides in the permanent collection of the Franklin D. Roosevelt Library. Peter Clarinet, a senior specialist at Christie's, emphasizes the letter's significance in the annals of science, technology, and humanity. He notes that this correspondence marked a pivotal turning point, being the first instance of direct governmental financial involvement in major scientific research in the U.S. Dr. Brian Wilcock, a lecturer and researcher in American and nuclear history, concurs, stating that most narratives about the origins of the atomic bomb trace their roots back to Einstein's communication. The letter became a catalyst for President Roosevelt's urgent decision to initiate nuclear research. The recent film Oppenheimer, which chronicles the Manhattan Project, underscores the letter's cultural importance, featuring it in a pivotal scene between Oppenheimer and physicist Ernest Lawrence. Clarinet observes that while the letter has always held historical significance, its portrayal in popular culture, especially through the lens of this film, will resonate with a new generation. Though Einstein's legacy is often intertwined with the atomic bomb, he distanced himself from the project and maintained that his role was purely indirect. He had already established his renowned equation, E/mc2 which elucidated the energy released during nuclear reactions, yet his involvement in the bomb's creation was largely exaggerated in popular narratives. Clarinet critiques the portrayal in Oppenheimer, noting that the dialogue suggesting Einstein was a driving force behind the bomb's creation is nonsense. Einstein, with his pacifist views and lack of security clearance, was cautious and skeptical about the project. The original idea to alert Roosevelt about the potential of nuclear weapons came from Leo Szilard, Einstein's former student, who, along with Einstein, fled Europe to escape the rise of Nazism. Szilard suggested writing the letter and urged Einstein to sign it, believing that the weight of Einstein's name would lend credibility to their warning. Einstein had gained significant influence in the scientific community after winning the Nobel Prize in 1921, and his letter, delivered in a time of uncertainty, carried considerable weight. As history unfolded, the Manhattan Project culminated in the successful testing of a prototype bomb known as the Gadget in the New Mexico desert on July 16, 1945. Spectators watched with a mix of awe and dread as the explosion illuminated the sky. President Harry S. Truman would later reflect on this event, noting in his diary that the U.S. had developed the most terrifying bomb in the history of the world. While the bomb was initially intended to end the war in Europe, it would ultimately be used against Japan. The bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945 resulted in the deaths and injuries of an estimated 200,000 people, along with long-term effects from radiation exposure. These events marked the only instances of nuclear weapons being employed in conflict, casting a long shadow over international relations and warfare. As historians debate the extent to which Einstein's letter directly influenced the Manhattan Project, many agree it accelerated efforts that might have otherwise been delayed. Wilcock points out that British pressure for greater research had already begun, citing the British-led Maud Report of 1941 as crucial in advancing American nuclear research. However, Einstein's intervention undeniably spurred action. In the aftermath of the bombings and the widespread destruction that ensued, Einstein came to deeply regret his role in facilitating the nuclear arms race. In 1946, he co-founded the Emergency Committee of Atomic Scientists to promote awareness about the dangers of nuclear warfare and advocate for peace. In a reflective piece for Newsweek in 1947, Einstein lamented, "If I had known that the Germans would not succeed in making the atomic bomb, I would not have lifted a finger." He recognized that his actions had inadvertently contributed to a world armed with nuclear weapons. By the time he passed away in 1955, Einstein had committed his later years to campaigning for nuclear disarmament, stating that his letter to Roosevelt was the biggest mistake of his life. As the landscape of warfare transformed with the advent of nuclear arms, the implications of his letter grew ever more profound. Today, 9 nations possess nuclear weapons, and the issues surrounding nuclear proliferation remain pressing. Philosopher Bertrand Russell echoed these sentiments in the Russell-Einstein Manifesto, which called for a resolution against nuclear war. Einstein endorsed the manifesto shortly before his death, asserting a powerful reminder of humanity's potential for both destruction and peace. The letter he wrote on that fateful day in 1939 remains a stark testament to the unintended consequences of scientific discovery and human ambition, a poignant reminder of the fragile line between progress and peril in our modern world. We hope you found this content insightful. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more engaging and informative videos. We can't wait to see you in the next one.